I still remember the night I lost everything. The tickers flickered in the half-dark, my heart pounding faster than the quotes on the screen. I had been right, until I wasn't. The market turned, and I did what every hopeful gambler does. I believed. Believed it would come back. Believed I was smarter than the tape. By the time I stopped believing, the market had taken not just my capital, but my confidence, my sleep, and almost my sanity. That's when I learned the most brutal lesson on Wall Street, a lesson every trader learns too late. It's not about how much money you can make. It's about how much of yourself you can protect when the market tests your soul. Every amateur who steps into the market walks in drunk on dreams. They ask, how much can I make? They don't realize that's the exact question that leads them to ruin. The professionals, the survivors, they ask something colder, harder, wiser. How much can I afford to lose? I used to think speculation was about prediction. Now I know, it's about protection. Every trade is a battle, and your capital is your ammunition. Without it, you're not a trader. You're a ghost. I've seen men with the best ideas in the world end up broken, because they forgot one sacred law. Survival is the first victory. See, when you lose your capital, you don't just lose money, you lose time. Time to recover. Time to strike again. Time to learn. And the market has no mercy for those who run out of time. So before I teach you my rules, understand this. The market doesn't care about your hopes. It doesn't care about your dreams. It only respects discipline. Every tick on that tape is a test of your emotional control. And the only traders who last are the ones who've learned to conquer themselves. Because the market's greatest predator isn't volatility. It's you. Your greed. Your fear. Your refusal to take a small loss before it becomes a life-changing one. Before we go deeper, take a breath. If you've ever held a losing trade and prayed for it to turn around, this story is yours too. I'm Jesse Livermore. And tonight, I'm going to show you the 12 laws of survival. Not from theory, but from blood, sweat, and sleepless nights. But before we go there, tap that like button and subscribe. Because these lessons took me a lifetime to learn and cost me fortunes to remember. If this video reaches more traders, maybe one of them will avoid the same grave I once dug for myself. Rule number 1. Protect your capital like your life depends on it. The first rule of trading isn't about making money. It's about staying alive long enough to make it. Protect your capital like a soldier guards his last bullet, because when the market turns against you, and it will, that capital is your only weapon. I've seen traders blow up not because they lacked intelligence, but because they refused to admit they were wrong. They fought the tape, throwing good money after bad, chasing losses the way a gambler chases redemption. But here's the truth. The market doesn't owe you a reversal. When it moves against you, it's not personal, it's just business. And in this business, pride is the most expensive emotion you can afford. Once, in 1907, I shorted the market right before the panic hit. Every point down was a victory, until greed whispered, "Hold just a little longer." I ignored my plan. By the time I tried to cover, the rebound had already begun. Profits vanished in hours. That night, I stared at the ticker tape like it was mocking me. And I realized I hadn't lost to the market. I had lost to myself. The best traders cut losses fast, without hesitation. They don't hope. Hope is for churches, not for markets. You set your stop, you honor it, and you move on. Every small loss is tuition. Every refusal to take one is debt. And debt in trading always collects with interest. Trading is survival of the calmest. The market rewards emotional discipline, not emotional drama. When your pulse races, your thinking slows. That's when you make desperate moves, adding to losers, ignoring exits, clinging to dead trades like anchors. Ask yourself this. Would you rather be right, or would you rather be profitable? Ego wants to be right. Discipline wants to be rich. Choose discipline. Every single time. And remember, protecting your capital isn't just about stop losses. It's about protecting your mind. A blown account wounds your spirit more than your wallet. When your confidence breaks, your judgment follows. That's when traders start revenge trading, forcing setups that aren't there, trying to make the market pay. But the market doesn't remember you. It doesn't even know your name. It only mirrors your decisions. If you bleed emotion into every trade, it will take every drop. So before your next position, repeat this like a prayer. I am not here to predict. I am here to protect. If this lesson hit something deep, if you've ever felt that battle between fear and greed inside you, then do one thing for me. Like this video and subscribe. Not for me, but so this message reaches more traders who need to hear it before the market teaches them the hard way. Rule number 2. Never add to a losing position. There's a certain kind of silence that fills a trading room when a losing trade keeps sinking. The numbers flash red, the air thickens, and your brain whispers the most dangerous words in speculation. If I just add a little more here, I can average down. I've heard that whisper before, and I've buried fortunes listening to it. In 1915, I watched one of the wealthiest traders in Boston vanish in a single week. He wasn't stupid. He wasn't reckless. He just couldn't accept that the market didn't care about his opinion. Every time the stock dipped, he averaged down. Every dip became an opportunity to buy cheaper. But the truth is, he wasn't averaging down his cost, he was averaging down his judgment. Adding to a loser is like feeding a fire and hoping it'll burn out. You're throwing good capital into a black hole of hope. And the more you feed it, the hungrier it gets. When you add to a losing position, you're no longer trading, you're praying. You've stopped reacting to the market and started trying to negotiate with it. But the market doesn't negotiate. It punishes denial. The great mistake is thinking the market is due to turn. But nothing is due. A stock can go from 100 to 10 and still be cheap. Ask anyone who's ever tried to catch a falling knife. They end up bleeding, not buying bargains. I remember shorting a railroad stock once. It moved against me fast. I told myself, it's just a pullback. I added more. Then more again. By the end of the week, I wasn't managing a trade. I was managing anxiety. I closed the position for a brutal loss, but the pain taught me something no textbook could. The market doesn't care about your logic. Only your liquidation level. If you're wrong, you're wrong. No amount of averaging changes that. You must be willing to hit the eject button the moment your thesis breaks. Adding to a winner builds strength. Adding to a loser builds weakness. Winners average up. Losers average down. That's how the market separates traders from dreamers. So the next time you feel the urge to add to a red trade, stop and ask yourself, am I trying to fix the market, or am I trying to fix my ego? Because one can't be fixed, and the other can destroy you. Rule number 3. The market doesn't reward activity, it rewards patience. Most traders lose not because they lack skill, but because they can't sit still. They treat the market like a casino floor, always needing action, always needing movement. But the market isn't Vegas. It's a mirror. And if you stare long enough, it reflects your impatience back at you, in red. When I was young, I thought trading meant trading often. I wanted to be in every move, every swing, every rumor. I chased the tape like a man running after a ghost. And though I worked harder than most, the market punished me harder too. Then came one of the greatest lessons of my life, and it started with doing nothing. I remember holding a position that I knew was right. The fundamentals lined up, the technicals whispered confirmation. But the move hadn't begun. Every day I'd watch the ticker, waiting for a spark. But impatience began to eat me alive. I wanted to act. To force something to happen. So I did. I closed the position early. The very next week, the move exploded, exactly as I'd predicted. But I wasn't on board. I was too busy staying active. That day, I wrote something in my trading journal I never forgot. Men who can be right and sit tight are rare. Most traders are like sharks. They die if they stop swimming. But the great ones? They float. They wait. They let the market come to them. The market rewards patience far more than activity. Every click, every impulse trade, every quick scalp. It feeds your need for excitement, not your equity curve. And excitement is poison to discipline. Sometimes the best trade you can make is the one you don't take. You wait for clarity. You wait for alignment. You wait until the market shows its hand. Then you strike with precision. Think of trading like hunting. You don't fire at every rustle in the bushes. You wait for the clean shot. Because in this game, bullets are capital, and hesitation after recklessness is always too late. So if you find yourself itching to trade, ask yourself, am I reacting to opportunity, or am I escaping boredom? Because boredom kills fewer traders than impulsiveness ever will. So take a breath and remember, the tape doesn't pay the fastest trader, it pays the most patient one. Rule number 4. Trade only when the market confirms your bias. Every losing trader shares one thing in common: they predict. They see a setup, they feel an urge, and they declare, it has to go up. But the market doesn't reward predictions. It rewards confirmation. And the difference between the two is the difference between intuition and illusion. I learned this lesson in the harshest way possible. It was 1929, and I saw the cracks before anyone else did. I knew the market was stretched. But knowing isn't trading. I shorted too early. The market kept climbing, mocking my logic. I watched my position bleed while the papers called it a new era of prosperity. It wasn't until the tape confirmed the weakness, when volume surged on down days, when leaders began to falter, that the real move began. By then, I was already nursing wounds instead of profits. That experience taught me something priceless. The market doesn't care about what you think should happen. It only respects what it shows you. You must learn to wait for confirmation, that moment when your theory aligns with the tape. Because the tape is truth. Every tick, every print, every swing. It's the heartbeat of collective psychology. When price and volume agree, you have signal. When they disagree, you have noise. Many traders destroy themselves by marrying a bias. They get emotionally attached to a story. They forget that the market isn't their partner, it's their opponent. You don't win by convincing it. You win by listening to it. There's a rhythm in the market that only patience can reveal. The amateurs trade their opinions. The professionals trade the evidence. That's why confirmation isn't weakness, it's wisdom. I used to think waiting for proof meant missing opportunity. Now I know, it's how you earn it. So before you enter your next trade, ask yourself, has the market proven me right, or am I just hoping to be right? When you can answer that honestly, you've already separated yourself from the crowd. Remember, trading without confirmation is like sailing without wind. You might move, but not in the direction you think. Rule number 5. The big money is made in the big wait. I've seen men make a fortune in the morning and lose it all by sunset. Not because the market changed, but because they did. They couldn't sit still. They couldn't wait. They couldn't let a good trade breathe. The greatest profits I ever made came not from brilliance, but from patience. When you catch a true move, a trend backed by conviction, your only job is to stay out of your own way. In 1901, I caught a bull run that changed my life. I was long in Union Pacific. The stock kept rising, and every instinct screamed, take profits before it reverses. But something inside me whispered a quieter truth. Don't sell a winning position just to feel safe. I held on. Days turned into weeks. By the time I finally sold, the move had tripled. That one trade taught me what most traders never learn. The big money isn't made in the buying or the selling. It's made in the waiting. Impatience is the silent killer of potential. Most traders have a stopwatch mindset in a marathon game. They chase quick profits, scalping pennies from moves that could have given them fortunes. They forget that compounding isn't just a financial principle, it's an emotional one. Confidence compounds when you let a good idea run. The market doesn't pay you for activity. It pays you for alignment. When your analysis, timing, and conviction meet, your best trade is often to do nothing at all. But waiting isn't passive. It's discipline in its purest form. It's resisting the temptation to lock in small profits because fear whispers, what if it reverses? Fear wants you out too soon. Greed wants you in too long. Patience stands between them like a shield. A trader once told me, Jesse, I get out because I'm afraid to lose what I've made. I told him, then you're not trading for profit, you're trading for comfort. And comfort has no place in speculation. You must learn to sit tight when the market moves in your favor. Every great trend rewards the trader who endures boredom and doubt while others panic and chase. So, ask yourself, when you're in profit, do you manage your position or your emotions? If you've ever sold too early and watched the market keep climbing without you, hit that like button. And subscribe because next, we enter one of the hardest rules to live by. Rule number 6. Never try to catch tops or bottoms. Every trader dreams of it. That perfect entry at the very bottom, the perfect exit at the very top. It's a beautiful fantasy. And it's also the most expensive illusion in all of speculation. Trying to catch tops and bottoms is like trying to pick up a knife while it's still falling. Even if you grab it, you'll likely bleed doing it. I used to chase reversals. I thought being first meant being brilliant. But every early entry was just another way to lose money faster. I learned that lesson in 1919, when I tried to short the cotton market. It looked overbought. Every instinct said, it can't go any higher. So I shorted it. Then it went higher. And higher. And higher still. By the time I surrendered, the loss was catastrophic. That trade taught me one of the few eternal truths of markets. The market can stay wrong longer than you can stay solvent. The goal isn't to buy the bottom or sell the top. The goal is to capture the middle, the sweet, profitable heart of the move. You don't need perfection. You need participation. Think of it this way. When a train leaves the station, you don't have to be the first passenger on board. You just need to be on before it gains full speed, and off before it crashes. That's trading. Most traders destroy themselves chasing extremes because ego convinces them they can call it. But calling tops and bottoms isn't analysis, it's arrogance in disguise. The professionals wait for confirmation that a turn has actually begun. They let the market prove itself. I've seen more accounts die from trying to be early than from being late. Early feels heroic, but it's just expensive courage. Late feels cautious, but it's disciplined wisdom. So don't fight the market trying to be clever. Trade what's visible, not what's imagined. There's no trophy for timing perfection. There's only survival, and the ability to trade another day. If you've ever tried to nail the bottom, and ended up catching the knife instead, drop the story comment below. Rule number 7. Your biggest enemy isn't the market. It's you. The longer I traded, the clearer it became. The market was never my real opponent. It didn't hate me. It didn't trick me. It didn't care. The battle was always internal. The war was always me, versus me. Every blown account started with the same voice, that whisper of ego that said, this time will be different. But the market has a way of humbling that voice, stripping away illusions until only discipline remains. I once thought the market exposed who you were. Now I know, it creates who you are. It forges character, or it consumes it. You think you're battling price movements, but what you're really facing is fear, greed, hope, and denial. Fear makes you sell too soon. Greed makes you hold too long. Hope makes you ignore reality. And denial destroys you quietly, trade by trade. When I lost everything, not once but several times, I realized my biggest mistake wasn't misreading the tape. It was misreading myself. I thought I was in control because I had experience, data, strategy. But none of that matters if you can't master your own emotions. You can't fight the market until you can command your mind. That's the ultimate edge. Every trade is a mirror, showing you your patience, your pride, your progress. The market is simply a magnifier. It amplifies who you already are. So if you're reckless, it will expose you. If you're disciplined, it will reward you. And if you're humble, it might just let you survive long enough to win. I've seen traders with brilliant systems fail because they couldn't control themselves. And I've seen average strategies turn into fortunes in the hands of calm, focused minds. It's not about the chart patterns or indicators. It's about emotional control under uncertainty. Because in this game, psychology is the real leverage. So remember this. You don't beat the market. You become the kind of person the market rewards. And that transformation isn't made in profits, it's made in pain. If you've ever blown an account, don't hide from it. That loss is your tuition. The question isn't, can I recover? It's, can I evolve? Because once you learn to master yourself, the market becomes just another reflection of your discipline. And that's when trading stops being a gamble and becomes a craft. If this spoke to you, if you felt that war within yourself, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Because somewhere out there, a trader is about to make the same mistake you once did, and maybe this message saves him. Until next time, remember, the market doesn't build character. It reveals it. Trade wise. Trade patient. Trade humble.